Hello, everybody. We are here. I know we are going to be contesting with Monday Night Football. Sorry, Thursday opening day football. Apologize for that. Anyway, we got a pretty decent show tonight. When I say decent, I mean awesome. Although I am not feeling super well. I've not been feeling well all day. But we're going to power through. We're going to talk about some new topics, some stuff going on. So let's see you in the chat. I know Master Jedi probably is not even there anymore. Probably watching the Cowboys get beat tonight. If you're a Cowboy fan, sorry. But that's just the way the cookie crumbles. They're going to lose. All right, gentlemen, welcome.
What's up, Jeremy? How are you?
Not feeling well.
Terrible. Yeah, it sucks, man. Sorry you don't feel so good.
Yeah. I did, for everybody's going to go, oh, he's got the vid. I've tested negative twice, so yeah, we're good. All right, so let's roll. We got some big news popping out. Before we do that, though, I do want to talk about. Of course, I didn't add it. Come on now. What's
Why are you looking that up? Speaking of testing negative, there's a new law that just passed. Ooh, we're not going to talk about that, though. We're not going to talk about that.
We don't want to talk about it?
No.
We can.
There's a real estate podcast. Let's finish our real estate conversation.
I feel like if we talked about it, this video would get taken off the internet, though.
Right.
I mean, the relative, it kind of does affect what we're doing.
Oh, look at this listing, everybody.
Oh, yeah. So just so everybody is aware, this listing did hit the market finally. We're listing at $1,025,000 on the east side. It is a spectacular property. It's a 3-story property. We've had actually quite a few showings on this already today. So excited about that. If you remember the video from it, here's the video where I lay across the table and act all kinds of silly for this video. So super excited about that. What's going on with y'all?
Just grinding away, trying to recover business-wise after the Labor Day weekend, which was pretty slow. I took a day off, actually.
You took a day off? Wow.
One day.
I didn't know you were allowed
any emails. I know.
I'm doing pretty good. I had like 4 offers this week, man.
Oh, nice. Good job.
4 offers you wrote or 4 offers on properties?
That I wrote that are actually getting accepted.
4?
Yeah.
Get it, bro.
Nice.
Yeah. It's working out.
Awesome. Very happy for you. Very cool.
Thank you. I mean, one of them was, you ready for this? 189,000. Shh, don't tell anybody, and no, I'm not telling anybody where that is.
Over? Or
no.
Over
total dollars?
Total price.
Kevin?
With a tax rate of 1.9.
Wow.
Was it a trailer or not?
4-bed. It's on some land. It's out there.
Oh,
but
okay.
it's good.
It's not close. Gotcha.
No, but it kind of aligns with our topic today.
Listen, if your budget was under $200,000 and you could be even an hour's drive to Austin, wouldn't you want to be there?
Yeah, it is. And it is less than it's a 45-minute drive.
So the topic we have tonight that I'm super excited to dive into is a topic that I have been I want to take a real quick step back and talk about what Kevin said about how the new regulations impact us. I want to hear him out on that. But we're going to be talking tonight about Samsung announcing that they're going to be going out to Thrall. Just kidding. Going to Taylor. So we'll talk about what that means if you're going to be investing and looking for places to invest, where out there. So that's going to be fun. But yeah, there we go. So Kevin, I want to hear from you. Yeah. So what was it today? What was the news? Is this it right here? Do you have it?
Yeah. Is that it? No,
I had it in screen.
Yeah. This one is specifically.
Oh yeah. No, I was talking about the other thing about the vaccines.
I'll grab it real quick. ABJ. I'm in ABJ right now, which I think is awesome anyway, but I spend a lot of time in there. Let me see if I can find that one.
Is there a theme for questions today? Can we ask anything? Just ask whatever you want. Jump in.
There's always an open list of questions.
We always like to answer stuff. We're talking about kind of where to invest really, and talking about what the investment in Taylor is going to look like. So that's the primary. But if you have questions, we are down to answer anything.
Here we go. I found it.
You got it? Did you hit share screen?
No, I'm going to do it right now.
Cool.
Remember, I have to do this very systematically.
Oh, here's a good one. Dinosaur D. I actually have the person who I heard the rumor from coming on next Thursday, and we are going to talk about Disneyland and all of that fun stuff next week. There are some updates on that. I've heard that we were slightly off, or I was wrong, not the rest of the guys, but it was actually Gerald where they bought the 7,900 acres. So a little bit different than Lockhart, but same premise. They're out in the middle of nowhere.
You know where that's close to? Samsung's new plant. I'm just throwing that out there too.
Yeah, maybe that's why they did it. So Kevin likes to talk about fun topics that get us in trouble in real estate. So here we go. Kevin, take it away, man.
You can actually see my search history here because I've been looking for a desk. Thanks, Google. Yeah, they're always listening. I did find one though. I think I'm going to buy this Pursuit ergonomic chair by Uplift. Austin company, by the way. Uplift.
Yeah, I've been by their shop.
That's why I picked up. Anyways,
is that next to Hermes?
Yeah, Hermes.
Whatever.
Thanks for not calling it like Hermes or something, Hermes. Like an STD or something.
I want to hear from people in the chat real quick, though. Who thinks that although Rob V, I agree, Niners, go Niners, but who thinks is going to win tonight in this football game? Is Tom Brady going to jump in and win another championship this year? Does Dak have it in him to win? Anyway, sorry. I want to hear in the chats from you. I like to
That's a good question. Stuff. Let's talk about that later, too.
Yeah.
Who's Tom Brady? Just kidding.
He's that guy that used to play for the New Orleans Saints.
Oh man, no, we'll talk about that later. I'm getting sidetracked.
Go ahead. So large
employers must mandate. Yeah, go ahead.
Hermes Miller chair. Look at that.
Sorry, everybody. I don't feel very well today, so
this is what happens when you.
Yeah, this might not be the greatest show tonight. I apologize.
No, it's going to be the best show ever. Don't tell them that. They're going to leave already.
I know, right?
Fine. I'll just do a stand-up. I'll do a stand-up comedy routine.
There you go.
Anyways, large employers must mandate the vaccine or weekly COVID-19 testing. Here's what it means for businesses. Really? Listen, I didn't read this article yet, but I just saw the thing and got over to you guys. Well, here's what it means for businesses. Like whenever a media outlet tells me what I'm supposed to reap from this, that's when I stop anyway. It's like I'll decide what I think it means for people. Mm-hmm. But I know that I know some people that work for some larger companies, because we talked about last week, some of the largest companies in the world are actually here in Austin, right? As far as like a Fortune 500 company, that when they asked and told people that they needed to come back into the office, even like some people said, like between 40 and 60% of the people that were working decided to quit. Because if the option was given to them, or if the option wasn't given to them to completely stay home or at least partially stay home, they were going to go look for a job that was going to allow them to do that. So that was literally just coming into the office. And, as divisive as mandatory vaccines are, I believe, maybe in Austin, maybe a little bit less, but across our country, as divisive as that is, I see this being a major issue. And, how it directly affects people here, I can see way more waiting on people now about really digging in and finding jobs where they can work from home. And I think as for our housing industry as a whole in our market, I just think that, this lends more towards people continuing to grow the suburbs here in Austin.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Kyle, Buda, San Marcos, Manor, Southeast,
specifically Austin. Outside of Austin proper.
Right.
Yeah.
Because the prices are stupid right now. Just prices are so stupid.
Look at this. This will apply to all employers with 100 or more employees, bro. It's not like 1,000 or more where it actually get into a decent sized company. This covers a lot of companies in Austin. There's a lot of companies that are 100 employees or more. So,
well, and then the question becomes, how many companies that are on the cusp that are around that number that might adjust their workforce to semi-perm employees, temp employees, or something like that, just to skate the rules?
Yeah.
And what I mean, do they put people as contractors, right? Instead of, because I mean,
Right.
as real estate agents, our employer can't, I don't think from this can ask us to get vaccinated because, well, I mean, I don't care. I'm already vaccinated. It doesn't really matter to me, but they can't require like Kevin or somebody else to go get vaccinated because we're independent contractors. So,
right.
Yeah. I mean, even then, like, I have a fundamental, I mean, whether you believe it or not, that's not what I'm debating here, but I feel potentially that this, could be challenged at a higher court level by the more strict you get with this, the more people are going to step up and say, okay, no, I mean, is this even legal to allow this?
Yeah.
I don't know the answer. I don't think that it is, but I don't know. I'm not a lawyer, so.
Yeah, it's interesting because I don't know how legal this is. Like, I mean, it wasn't enacted by Congress. It was executive order, was it not? Is that what it was, or how did they come up with this?
Mm-hmm. It's going to be executive order.
Yeah, it seems like there might be some challenges there with that. But
well, the challenge I have with it is when a couple of weeks ago, when the state of Texas, when those 2 restaurants here in Austin decided that they were going to require this measure, either you either show that you're vaccinated or you wear a mask. Like, it was days before our Texas government stepped up, and they said, no, you can't do that. Like, or not that you can't do that, that it would be not beneficial. I don't know if it was threatening for them to do that, to say that you can't do it, but that they would make it difficult.
Was it the vaccine part that they had an issue with, requiring people to wear masks? Because I know there's not a mask mandate, but I think, isn't it still up to businesses to implement wearing a mask? Because I mean, I've walked into several places and they'll say masks recommended or masks required. I don't see required as much, but I do see recommended.
Bro, I grew up in a small town in Southern Illinois where my dad owned a gas station. My brother pumped gas and he was a mechanic. My mom worked inside. I mean, that's when and this is not just a funny thing. We had a sign on the door that said no shirt, no shoes, no service. Like, that was pretty common. It's not just a meme. You could turn somebody away literally for not wearing shoes, right? That's not illegal.
Yeah.
But we didn't say we need to see your entire medical record to make sure that you don't have any, diseases.
I think this was closer to private property and gun laws, right? Because the correlation is, there's an assumed correlation that it's a potential danger to others, right? I think it's closer to that. Not, you can not wear shoes and nobody can, like, it's not going to affect the next person.
Yeah.
Right. But if you walk into a place armed and they have cash registers or other people, right? So
makes
I think it's closer to gun laws.
Yeah. I mean,
if you want to jump down more rabbit holes, I mean, the open carry thing just got
yeah.
No, I won't even tell that story.
But it's so important. Like you see in these all these comments and everybody online, it's super important because you have so many people that are relocating here specifically for that, and then you have Austin, which was almost counter to what most people, or what a lot of people are relocating for, right? And that's where we're talking about why people may end up moving to some of these suburbs like Taylor or Buda or Kyle, because they still embody alternate options.
Right. And for prices that you can actually really dig in and make a home somewhere.
Right.
Yeah. Speaking of, like Taylor.
Here we go. Let's get off the controversial subjects.
Yeah.
I mean, I think at a certain point, I mean, some people are probably going to be like, "Oh, this is a real estate show, not about this stuff." But at a certain point, like, I hate to admit it, but the abortion law that just was passed matters. The vaccine mandates, mask rules, gun laws. All of that affects people moving here in one way or another. Either they're wanting to move here for that or get away, or they don't want to, maybe they'll move out because of those things. And, all of those things might impact businesses, which if they impact businesses, that's going to, that's going to hurt the housing market. So it's not, I don't like to talk about these touchy subjects because there's so many different broad strokes and nuance to a lot of these topics, but they do, at a certain point, they do cross over into the real estate world because they could potentially hurt sales. But what we got here for, and what we're really here for, is to talk about. Any other comment on that before we jump in on?
Yeah, I remember having a conversation with one of my buddies who happens to work for the city of Austin, and we were talking about just that controversial the word politics. And I said, I believe there are a lot of people that relocate and consider politics in their move. And his response was, no, nobody would do that. I was thinking, what?
Yeah.
Right. And I'm talking, this is a very rational and intelligent person, but has no connection to the real estate world. And I'm hearing what I hear from people all the time. So it was such an interesting perspective from somebody who hadn't been exposed to it. And I'm thinking, this is our world.
Well, I would say you're right. Maybe it's like a matter of semantics, that it's not the reason that they're moving.
No, of course not. It's
right.
not.
But it might be. Well, but it might be the thing that triggers the thought of, hey, I'm open to the idea of going somewhere else.
Here's the best example of politics. Two good examples of politics in an area: taxes and HOAs.
Yeah.
Done. Like,
yeah.
Right. So you do have people that think about that. They just don't consider it a political response.
Yeah, my HOA is highly political, especially given the last year with the Shmona virus.
It's already been said like 5 times.
I know, but yeah, man, talk about just being so political. It became ridiculous.
Everything's political.
One other thing that I thought was interesting is that no one cares about politics. Money is all that matters. I agree. But the money is affected by the politics. It's local politics. And, yeah. I had this thought a while ago, and I said on the show, and everybody shot me down. But with the recall going in California, how does that impact sales in Texas? Because I got to admit, Gavin Newsom's been the biggest real estate agent in Texas for the last couple of years. So. I mean, I don't say that in a derogatory term, but I mean, the reality is that a lot of people that have talked to me that moved out because of that, like they say, hey, I'm leaving because of Newsom, or I'm leaving because of this, or I'm leaving because of that. And it's all super political. So, not everybody's just moving to Austin or Texas for a job. So, I mean, it does matter at a certain level. People just don't like to politics. Do you think the prices will start growing up slowly from November to December until summer? Yes, 100%. Yeah. I mean, what do you guys think? I agree. I think that with some of these announcements that we're going to talk about today, I think you're just going to see it all over. Where the impact will be the most heavy is the only change I see. Newsom's employee of the month for the night group. Yep. He's been employee of the month, I think, like 19 months in a row. All right. So let's get into this story. So we have the story talking about Taylor in Williamson County giving up some chips to bring in Samsung. What are your thoughts on, because Samsung was initially going to be looking at the east side of Austin, right? And now they're not. It was right on the border of, it was in Austin proper, right on the border where Pflugerville and Austin connected, right? Out in the ETJ. And that was the original plan. But Taylor was like, we need more jobs because they had a big plant shut down there. So that affected people. And then, they've got like a Bitcoin mining plant or something out in Taylor too. There are things that, if you know anything about Taylor, I'm just going to say that doesn't really fit. But they're absolutely doing it. They have to be doing it for the tax incentives, and it makes sense. It makes a lot of sense, right? So, and same with Austin. Same with like Tesla. They didn't buy in the heart of Austin, right? They bought way out where they can get a lot of incentives for growth.
That's why
Samsung's doing the same thing.
I guess that's why I see, if you're speculative for Austin, I don't think that there's a bad place to invest in Austin regardless. But, the obvious investments may not make you as much money, but they'll be solid investments, right? They're low risk because they're obvious. But if you were to, for example, take a risk and buy something in a Taylor or even an Elgin, like at some point, likelihood is that the growth is going to, envelop that, and you're going to see a larger percentage of gain. It just might take a few more years to do that. But Taylor is one of these places. Even now, like you said, it's not like a booming metropolis, but
but the thing is, what does $17 billion do to the per capita population of Taylor? Does it triple it? And this is assuming that most of these are manufacturing style jobs that cannot be worked remote. Mm-hmm. Right? And then a lot of these people, let's say half in these manufacturing jobs, have partners and or children. How many more jobs spawn from that? And then there's the construction. $17 billion is a lot of money to spend to build a building.
I mean, they're going to have to really invest in their
roads and schools and everything. But the only reason they haven't invested in schools is because their population is what, like 8,000 people? Like it's not.
Ian, their population is 17,000 people.
Okay.
There's an almost identical number of men and women.
So, I mean, here's the thing about, let's say Samsung does go to Taylor. Right now, if I wanted to buy a home under 500,000, this looks like a lot on this screen. This is all 500 and below, but like there's really not a whole lot of inventory 500 and under, right? I mean, and let's be honest. Like most people are going to go to manufacturing plant. Maybe let's say their max is 350. Like the inventory out towards Taylor for under 350. This is it. Two bed, 3 bath. This is it. That's not a lot.
You just brought up a good point, and I shared a screen with it too. Taylor, being an older town, they have a lot of 2-bed, 1-bath houses. Mm-hmm. Right? That's a big deal. A lot of people want 3-bed, 2-bath minimum. Mm-hmm. Okay? So that's huge. So once you have 3-bed or 2-bath or better, this is all that's left. This is it for active. Not even 20 active listings, and these two are acreage. So
this question right here is a super great question. Let me clear out your screen here real quick. I want to see Kevin's face. So Jeremy Knight, what do you think of East Village project near Samsung Boulevard in Austin? Will it help in home price increase around Pioneer Crossing and Pioneer Hills area? 100%. I think it will. In fact, Kevin believes in that area so much. And so Kevin and I had this conversation today. I'm actually happier that they decided to go towards Taylor because the development out there, putting in all that acreage takes away from the development going out there. Kevin, tell them what you have going on out there.
Yeah, I mean, we've got a lot of good stuff going on in that area. Not huge details that we can share yet, but looking in that area to develop some stuff, and in that process, noticing how much of the land over there actually is in the process of being purchased and turned over. Like if you haven't been over by Samsung in the last couple of months, even, I think your mind will be blown about how many large dirt moving pieces of equipment are out there right now. The area is flat. Like we were just talking about, it's incentivizing to develop those areas because they're outside of the city limits of Austin, right? Like this is actually Manor. So you're not having to contest as much. You're more in the county area. So your development is potentially a lot more straightforward. But I mean, to answer your question, yes, in my opinion, that quadrant there, not knowing definitively what's going to happen in Taylor, I think both of them are very important. But I think this is potentially one of the most important development areas in the city of Austin for the next 5 to 10 years. I
know that some of this land out here is getting sold off right now. That's where I do some decent hog hunting. There you go, talking about hog hunting again.
I'm looking at Dinosaur D's comment. I was trying to buy an investment property in Pioneer Crossing, and they do not have a date for when they can finish. because of Austin and their permitting process.
Yeah, and so that was also a problem too, and why I think it's smarter that they're moving more towards Taylor is that Austin. This came out I think 3 or 4 months ago. That the permitting process was like 4 months behind because they needed to hire like 40 more employees to catch up the backlog to run through permits. I mean, think about inspectors too. You know what I think is. Like if somebody's looking to get into real estate right now and they're looking for a job and something that's going to pay them really well, or maybe they're not a real estate agent, I swear the best job right now is appraisals. If you can become an appraiser right now, you're going to the cost for appraisals is ridiculous. On a $4 million home, it was like $4,000 for our appraisal. I've had a couple $1 million properties that it was like $1,800 for the appraisal. Can you imagine if you're an appraiser, let's say you do 5 appraisals a week at $1,000 a pop. I mean, $5,000, like $20,000 a month for doing 20 appraisals. That's not bad.
I sold 24 acres and the appraisal was about that. It was $5,000 for that. There's not even a house. There was nothing out there. And it was the same company that had done the appraisal 10 or 20 years ago.
Surveyors too. There's a survey company that just announced that they're no longer going to be doing public surveys. They're only doing land development because they don't have enough what do you call them, surveyors? That's crazy to me. So think about now, you need a survey for a property. Think about how much longer it's going to take.
Yeah,
it's crazy. I mean,
and you have all these builders. I don't know if people realize you've got these builders that are doing 150 houses a month in multiple areas, right? Like that's just one development and they're doing this in multiple areas. And so the city has to keep up with that.
Yeah, and the city can't. And that's part of the problem. As much on this channel, I got a funny story. Well, no, it's actually a really sad story. As much as I rag on builders on this channel, I'm going through a build myself, and it took forever just to get through all the stuff just to get to foundation stage. I mean, it took 6 months. Just getting through all these processes taking forever. I have a client, I got an email 2 days ago. This is the most ridiculous thing I ever heard. They delivered the windows and somebody drove up and stole all the windows, and they're custom made windows for this property. Somebody came up and stole the windows from this property. And now they're going to be set back another month. So it's, I mean, for everybody saying the market's going to crash in Austin, it's so hard for builders just to build right now. There's not as much inventory. And a lot of people are leaving new builds to go buy resale. I mean, if you don't want to wait a year and you don't know where interest rates are going to be in a year. I mean, shoot, why would you wait a year? Anyway, so.
That actually ended up being our second strategy. So I told you we got a property under contract, and then we're also going, as soon as we move in, we're going to go and look for a new build because we know it's going to take almost a year to build.
Yeah.
Right. And so we'll do that and bounce, but it's crazy that you have to do that, but we want to lock in the price.
The saddest part for me, if we go back to what's being built out there and Taylor, there's actually becoming some parity in our entire MLS for the pricing on a 3 and 2. There's not as much benefit of going 30 minutes further outside of town. I just got pricing San Marcos and Trace. I don't know if you guys saw this or if you guys have seen anything in Trace and San Marcos.
I have somebody buying right now. Yeah. Under contract.
I was there April. And you could get one under contract brand new for $340,000.
Oh yeah,
what, 550 now?
No, that same, which is the small version, was 450 now.
Jeez.
In San Marcos, I'm not saying San Marcos is a bad place. I'm saying it's a relative thing. 350. I think earlier Dinosaur D said I would say $350K for blue collar jobs would be the ideal amount, wouldn't it? No,
right.
I mean, it may be blue collar if you were working overtime or if you have a managerial position, but if you're making $25-$30 an hour, even $350 is going to wipe. I mean, it's going to cost most of what you, and I know because years ago it's a different story, but when I was in engineering and making good money, my house was $255,000, and it's not like I had a ton of money left over every single month. It was like,
yeah, I mean,
you know, strict.
And it's circumstantial too. We have a lot of people that come here with VA loans, like a disproportionate amount that I've seen that come here with VA loans, and so they're in a whole different situation. Their taxes in a lot of cases they don't have to pay them or pay a discounted rate, and so yeah, I agree. I think that, like you said, manufacturing jobs at 350, that's a little high, and to see that in places like Taylor, where all the manufacturing companies are coming, along that 130 corridor, it's going to be tough. And that's why this just goes back to, I don't know if it was Dinosaur D or Master Jedi, but someone who's frequently commenting said exactly that to us, said this is going to be a rental economy, and we agree.
Mm-hmm.
It is turning into that.
I mean, it has
350 for dual incomes. Yep. I mean,
I've always said Austin is legitimately a place where, I mean, this is a generalization. There's no data behind this, but I would say any neighborhood that you probably want to live in, whatever house that you're wanting to buy probably will require two median incomes to purchase.
You know what's crazy about that? This is a huge singles city. Like that's the worst part. So you need to hook up with somebody just to buy a house.
Well, I actually did a whole video about what's the real cost of to live in Austin, and I broke it down. This is a while ago, but like the real cost, if you have a kid, it's I mean, talk about 350 home. Like your purchasing power, if you have one child, like diminishes down. You need to be in the 225, right?
Is that a lesson like don't have kids? Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm not saying don't have kids, but I'm just saying like because if you're gonna, if you're both gonna work, those kids have to go to daycare, and then that's an additional cost. So I know a lot of families weigh that where they just go on one income because the cost doesn't really outweigh the benefit of putting them in, right? Or however you work that out. Sorry, again, everybody, I don't feel good today. I've been literally in bed all day today. So
I understand what you're saying.
That's a outlier.
Yeah, but the point of that, actually, I'm glad you brought that up because 200 is over 200%. It's 2x the median household income.
Yeah.
So you're doing two median household incomes, even if you're one person doing that. It takes two median household incomes generally to afford. And for the most part, you're probably living way below your means because in Austin, I would say most people if you had one person earning 200 and they were with somebody else that was probably earning really good money too, you're probably now looking at $700,000 or $800,000 houses because that's the neighborhood that you want to be in. That's the point that I'm trying to make. It's like that's kind of the way this slides up. Generally, the neighborhood you're desiring to be in for work or pleasure or whatever requires 2 times the median income or 2 times the income for that purpose.
Yeah, and that, I mean, Dinosaur D, right? Well, wrong one. Dinosaur D said it'll be hard to start a family. I mean, I'll just say from my experience moving out here before I really got into real estate, Eileen did really well. I was a manager for Costco, and it was still a struggle. And we bought a house under 300,000, right? And in a tax rate that was only like 2.14. Can you imagine buying a 350 home with a 3% tax rate? I mean, that's all of a lot of the places that we're looking at are 3% tax rates out there. So just because you have MUDs and all that too. So it's still challenging, to have a family, and you're going to have 2 incomes if you do that. So weird side tangent, but
I don't think it's a tangent. I think it speaks directly to the Taylor development because all the way back to the beginning, the point I was trying to make is I don't know that Taylor, if somebody's coming to Taylor to develop property, I still don't know that they're going to be offering buyable homes for somebody that's making $30 an hour.
So there are a couple things that are benefits, and I'll say you have like a 2.7 tax rate for some of these houses, which is, that's one thing, but a lot have no HOAs.
Oh yeah.
Right. What? So that is a small help.
What's the higher tax rate driver then if there's no HOA?
Probably running natural gas. Related to.
What about like after Taco Bell, unnatural gas?
That was very bad.
Is that a dad joke? I am a dad. Does that cover?
Well, because I'm sitting here trying to dissect it. I'm like, what is he? Oh, got him.
Well, I mean, look. So think about it. Let's say, okay, Taylor's not. I mean, obviously, what we're talking about, Taylor, is it's not. It doesn't have a lot of big developments out there, right? It's not necessarily the biggest, for vast developments. But here's the thing. I'm going through and just, on the side here as we're talking,
navigate to like Voodoo Donuts. I always do that on 6th Street because that'll take you directly downtown.
Okay, but
donuts, but, okay.
But look, if you're in, off of 130, right? It's only, well, I mean, 28 to 50 minutes to Taylor. It's not that bad. Hutto. I mean, think about what this is going to do for pricing in Elgin, Manor. I mean, there's some good, decent neighborhoods coming up in Elgin.
Well, when you see all that green space, it's called development opportunity right there. All of that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I was just looking at the floodplain area too, and it's no worse than in
Pflugerville,
Austin or Pflugerville. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Geez, I mean, so if people are gonna, go, okay, I'm gonna work in Taylor, but I want a 30-minute drive. I mean, Georgetown's not that bad. Hutto's not that bad. If you're not gonna live in Taylor itself, I mean, definitely like when this comes out, I guarantee you, there's all these big time, developers like, okay, let's go buy land in Taylor, right? Because if you can develop in Taylor right now, why not?
Well, I was just looking like, listen, forgive me, I've only lived here for 7 years, but the lake of the San Gabriel River over there, for me, all I'm seeing is like lakefront property, but maybe I don't know, but I could see that area being developed into some really nice housing.
Yeah, the one thing about Taylor is they have that small airport. I've got a lot of people that have complained about, having an airport fly over them. It's kind of the same complaint about Del Valley and some places in Georgetown. But overall, I think there's opportunity there. And I've known investors that have 100% focused on Taylor for years, like before anybody knew about it. And it's been very lucrative for their portfolio.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I believe it.
You just got the thing about Taylor. So if anybody's looking and they're seriously thinking about this conversation, like, maybe I should consider it because it's still within my means, right? Here's what you got to be careful with. Taylor, all the foundations, or the large majority of foundations on your houses, are pier and beam, very different from the slabs everywhere else. And then also Taylor, they're kind of good old boys out there, and so their permits. A lot of houses don't have permits pulled, right? So you have no idea what's happening
today.
Today,
they're like that.
Yeah, right.
Along with
today,
the environment.
Mm-hmm.
2.7. Man, I want to understand this tax rate a little bit better.
So what I'm worried about is I have a lot of tech friends with my income. I'm worried we will see Seattle prices soon.
Of course you will. At some point. I mean, I'm not gonna lie.
The question is how long.
Yeah, right? I mean, really, it's how soon, not how long.
Yeah, and maybe I'm not saying that this is specific. I'm just bringing up the question. That maybe then Austin proper is not where people are going to be focusing on, quote unquote, raising young families. It would just.
I mean, honestly, if you look at like Hutto, Pflugerville, Manor, all those areas are putting in a lot of developments and a lot of things to make them, family friendly. So, and then you have your, what's that one place that, oh my gosh, that Ian just talks about all the time, Kalahari Resort. Every live stream is like, hey guys, I was at Kalahari. It was great.
Rock Vegas.
Well, okay. So hold on. I'm from directly between Chicago and Wisconsin, right? Or Milwaukee. So Chicago and Milwaukee. If you lived in Wisconsin, the place you went was Wisconsin Dells, period. Like that was your staycation vacation. And Kalahari was one of those big resorts. So like that excitement is nostalgic to me. So that's why I always bring it up. But it is, you go in and it's themed, like African safari themed. It's so cool. You walk in there, you see these giant gorilla statues. You're like, whoa, are they really that big? Like a lot of people haven't been out of their comfort zone and seen these things in real life. Anyway, I also have the tax rates up for
one quick question, Ian.
Taylor, broken down.
What's the best hot dog place and what's the best pizza place in Chicago?
Well, I mean, everybody knows the hot dog place, Portillo's.
My favorite, and I didn't believe it at first, but Lou Malnati's in Chicago for pizza. Their buttery crust is second to none. Let's look at this. So, okay, here's your tax breakdown. Boom. So a total of 2.69, your rate. The biggest hit is the ISD, Taylor ISD, 1.4. And then second is the city. But then you have county tax because you're out there in the middle of nowhere. And then what is this? County FM road tax. It's small. And then Lower Brushy Creek. You have that a lot up north. So anybody who's looking up north, you have a real small mud for that.
I wonder how the Taylor school tax compares to some of the other breakdown school taxes. I need to look at that.
I can go, pull them up.
I'm going to do it.
Look at the taxes on this though. $5,700 for the year. What is it in Austin for most places? If you're at 3%, if you're at that same 2.69 tax rate somewhere else in Austin, you're like almost 9,000.
3 times.
But
easy answer would be
but that house is valued at what? 211,000.
Yeah, tax rate. Yeah. So based on that, right? That's not what anybody's going to be paying. They're going to be paying. This is listed at $350.
Right, but those taxes will go up next year once they see that it sells.
Well, right. They have a homestead. They probably have a homestead and an exemption of some sort. I didn't look to see. But absolutely, it'll go up, and it'll be taxed at 2.7% based on a $350 purchase price, or $365 if it's a little higher. And the lagoon is being built in Leander. It's Leander Springs.
Yeah.
Right between the 183 Oval.
I talked to you about this yesterday. I might consider moving to Leander.
I know. I know. That's our next move.
Are you being sarcastic? Because I can't tell.
No, he's not.
No, I'm being serious.
Wait, after last week's live stream, and I picked what was it? Grand Mesa or whatever. I talked about that.
I love Grand Mesa. I love that
area.
I've sold homes in there. I absolutely love that neighborhood.
I wish I would have done that years ago, but
me too. I mean, hey, here's the deal. We could wish we go to buy everywhere in 2019.
Oh, I know.
Even like the beginning of 2020, because I mean, legit, my neighborhood has gone up 50% in value in 1 year. Which is insane, which is absolutely insane. I mean, homes that were originally sold in 2019 for like 560, 570 are now worth almost $1 million. It's stupid.
I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead. I like questions.
Maybe I'm stupid, but I don't understand. And this is going to be controversial. Surprise. I was looking at the tax breakdown. Taylor's is 1.4% for their school district. Dripping Springs is 1.33, so it's less. City of Austin is 1.10. That goes to the high school or the school districts. Why in the flippin' hamburgers is the Austin Community College getting 5% of all the property taxes?
Yeah, that's a good question.
5%.
Yes.
For what? It's the people pay to go to school there. Why is that being subsidized?
That's the answer.
I don't know that that's controversial. I think that's a good question.
I mean, can we? If anything, I would sacrifice the Austin Community College and put all their classes on YouTube and have a subscription service through YouTube to take those classes. Listen, and I'm not being a hypocrite, okay? Yes, I have an engineering degree, but I'm not stupid. I went to community college for 2 years for free, okay? So I understand how bad it is because it's so inexpensive. But, I mean, that's stuff you could learn. Literally everything I learned that I probably could learn on YouTube. So why are we at 5% of all property taxes in Austin being subsidizing what could be a private business?
So you're not paying even more to go to ACC? Well, I mean, but somebody else is paying for it. Like, not that you're paying more.
How pissed would you be if you're paying property tax to know that these trust fund kids that were going to school at larger universities were having their education subsidized? Does it make is it different because of the income potential? I would say no. I say it's the same thing. You'd be pissed. Anyone would be pissed if UT was taking 5% of all property taxes and still charging tuition.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. They get millions of dollars in booster funds. So, I mean,
I mean, no. What I meant was I'm not stupid in that I paid for the whole time to go to a big school.
hey, I went to JC so I could offset the cost and do my pilot training, get my pilot's license. So
yeah, I got a corporate job, so they would pay for my college. So I got a degree on their dime. It was great.
That's where I was at 9/11, by the way, walking into the atrium at the cafeteria.
But speaking of 9/11, I was on an engineering trip in Vegas. We literally drove. I was at their big engineering conference at whatever the convention center. We had gotten in that night, woke up, and like my girlfriend at the time called me like, "Are you seeing this?" I'm like, "What? Seeing what?" Turn on the TV, and then as soon as I did, the second plane hit. Boom.
Yeah. Did anybody see the first plane hit? Wait, I don't want to derail this.
Yeah.
But
I want to derail this.
But I mean, what it is tomorrow's September 11th, right?
Yeah.
2
days.
2 more days.
It's crazy.
Bobby, I don't know what a JPEG is. I just want a picture of a goddamn hot dog.
So moral of the story is if you're going to invest East Austin if you're going to invest because of Samsung, which I think is going to bring a ton of jobs in. Does it say on the article how many jobs it will bring in?
It doesn't. So the article that we're talking about, let's be clear, does not fully approve that it's actually going to happen.
Right.
It says that Taylor and Williamson County have approved the incentives that if Samsung chooses it, they will deliver those incentives. But it seems highly likely that that's what they'll get.
Yep. They could still pull a Bezos and move to like Seattle or something crazy. Like, wait, what? Everybody's getting their hopes up.
Do you know Bezos owns a ton of land in West Texas? What is it? I
mean, he probably owns a ton of land in a ton of places.
He buried a clock that's like a $40 million clock.
So
and that's where they're shooting the rockets off at, right?
As you do, a $40 million clock.
I mean, why not?
I mean, it's his money, right? I mean, it's my money.
I mean,
it's your money. You keep buying stuff from there.
He thanked all of his employees so he could go to space.
That was classic.
Dude, that video is so good.
I just want to thank you guys.
I just went like, geez. If I worked at Amazon, I'd be like, screw you.
So, another thing.
All right, so here we go. I found it. So if all goes well, a chip plant will fully operated by the end of 2025 and bring 1,800 jobs in that area, in addition to 6,500 to 10,000 construction jobs.
Wow.
Right. So, and that's just those jobs, not the exponential increase of jobs.
That's a lot of people for that.
Partners and businesses and such. Yeah.
Phoenix and New York State are the other two. I mean,
they're not going to get it. Come on.
I mean,
well, so here's the clincher. Samsung is a leading supplier for Tesla, and they just inked a deal with their cameras in their new cars. So all of the Tesla cars and trucks that are being delivered from the factory, the theory would be that they're getting the chips and the cameras from Samsung.
I mean, that's smart.
Or at least the cameras.
I mean, they're just right up the road, one underground tunnel right away. Yeah.
Well, it's 130. The speed limit's 85, which means you go 97. So it's perfect. You get there in 3 minutes. It's great.
They could just helicopter them over too.
It's faster to drive on 130.
Yeah, I don't trust driving on 130 though. Just so that we can.
I rode my motorcycle out there, and I said I shouldn't do this. It's not safe. It's not good.
Ooh, Gallup just got me a catch. Yeah, Tampa Bay's up 7-0. If anybody's Oh, and wait, spoiler alert.
Another thing that's really interesting about the Taylor location, is it's actually growing a little bit faster than Hutto, right? As far as looking at the map and the way the development is, because Hutto, I don't know if you guys remember, but it was like, Hutto was like, no, we want to slow down growth, just like Austin had been doing. So if you look at the real estate on Google Maps for what's been developed, Hutto is not as big as Taylor, and that's the city between Round Rock and Taylor. So that means Hutto should end up growing substantially as well, because that is directly along 130.
Candace says she's going to go to Seguin Converse area. That's great.
I love Converse.
Yeah.
Yeah, Seguin
Seguin
has
I think they were one of the fastest.
Suns Island. Go find a place near Suns Island.
Seguin has a Caterpillar facility too.
I like Seguin.
Yeah.
I'm actually buying a new build property in New Braunfels. So it's
bro,
kind of,
you know what's crazy?
did I tell you that?
You're buying a new. Oh, wait, did you already say that? Did you
Yeah.
already know where it was?
It's in New Braunfels.
I didn't know if
Yeah.
you faux pas.
No.
When I first started buying investment properties, when I was marketing, that was like 2010. No kidding. I started looking for investment properties in the areas where Caterpillar had facilities, because Caterpillar typically pays a lot of money in market research to find these like underrated, like they're good places that are kind of close to stuff but not super expensive, and like investing in properties around there. And Seguin was one of those places, bro.
You know,
I should have just followed it.
That makes me think, what other companies are like that right now today?
Yeah.
You think they still do that? You think that's still their strategy?
I think I knew what some of the criteria was. It just depends on the type of plant that they were building at the time, but it has to be like X number of miles from a major interstate, X number of miles from a major waterway, stuff like that. And then they look really closely at the population per capita income. They don't want it to be very high. They want it to be right at the median needs to be close to what the median pay they want to make to the employees is going to be.
Love that. My spitballing answer to that would be, I wonder if Tractor Supply Company is similar.
Oh, yeah.
Because they put those in, and I'm always like, how did this end up here? But they're always busy. Every Tractor Supply Company. And then it's always in a town where you start seeing some growth.
Mm-hmm. Alice just scored. Football teams.
Duplex East Austin under 500.
I got one. PM me.
You have one?
Yeah, it's off market.
PM Ian if you want off market. This one's not bad. Fort. Yeah.
Who PMs?
GM.
What are you on? What are you on? ICQ?
I am. Yeah. That's funny. I still have a Merc account.
I was more of a Yahoo chat kind of guy.
No, I've got IRC. I had which one was the flower?
Which one was the flower? I don't remember, bro.
Yeah. I had them all.
MSN.
Everything I could create an account, I had an account for.
Yeah.
I've got a Friendster account somewhere. You ever heard of that? That was the MySpace out of the country.
Yeah,
it's great.
I just remember comparatively the supposed chats with what were supposed the girls were probably better on Yahoo chat than they were on MSN Messenger for some reason. Like they just sounded hotter to me, I guess, when I was.
Oh my God.
Instant Messenger girls.
Just so everybody remembers, he's not dumb. He's just an engineer.
He's
not dumb. He's an engineer.
It's got an engineering degree.
Never mind the master's in business, by the way.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh man, 11 through noon. Man, my listing's got all these showings tomorrow.
That's good.
Jeremy's fading.
Right. Yeah, I'm not feeling good still, guys. Sorry.
Jeremy, you want to wrap it up, bro? I don't want to do that to you.
Victoria, Texas, yes or no?
Victoria's mixed, right?
Yep.
How close?
It's far,
it's not really close to. It's not close enough to Houston directly to make a huge impact on this market.
I'm going to tell you my decision point right this minute is, does it have a supercharger?
What's lit?
Google it. You have Google on your.
No. I'm saying like when I'm looking at places. So Victoria, that is one of the places that does have a supercharger nearby. So I'm thinking, and you have to stop there or, not Lockhart, but some other place, right? There are only those two places, and then Corpus.
Would you buy, just out of curiosity, would you rather buy that Rubicon electric truck, the
Rivian?
Whatever. Whatever. The Ford Lightning or the Cybertruck?
Are you asking me
or in general? Yeah, you.
I don't like Amazon products. I don't like their hardware. I think they have a great mind for logistics, and that's how their company is so successful. But think about everything they make. The only thing they made that was successful, like truly successful, was the Fire Stick that everybody could hack, and then the Echo, which is now being overtaken by everything else.
I mean, so, Kindle
is that was their baby. You're right. That was their baby.
But that's different. Not nearly as technologically advanced.
Right. And now everybody, every tablet that you've got, every phone has the ability to do the same. So
I feel like Rivian's really going to steal that Subaru crowd. every picture I see of their marketing materials, I assume I should be like the Northwest Pacific or something like that.
They have some really cool ideas. Like I like the little bench that they have that slides out and you can just break out and start cooking from under the cab.
Here's the thing: all those gadgets and widgets and fun things are great. The problem that all of those vehicles have is where are you going to charge?
Absolutely.
And that's why, like, I look like somebody asked me the other day, like, oh, are you going to get the Cybertruck? I'm like, yeah, of course. And they're like, well, why wouldn't you just get the Ford Lightning or whatever? I'm like, where I drive to Sal Padre at least every other month. Yeah. And it's a 5-hour drive and I have to charge at least twice. So
one's in Victoria, right?
No, no, I don't go that way.
Oh, you're not going that way. Never mind.
No, I don't go that way. But the reality is, if I had a Ford truck and I was trying to, like, where the hell do I charge at?
Well, I mean,
I know they're gonna like put in places, but I mean, the infrastructure is already there, so it's like really tough. Like, oh, I could have all these cool other features, or I could have my car die on the side of the road and have to get picked up. I mean, I don't know.
They're opening up superchargers to other manufacturers, right?
The Tesla ones. But my problem with that is then, like Tesla, if they did that, then why would you buy a Tesla anymore?
Well, so right now they have the ability to make, I think it was 10,000 a year superchargers that they can get pushed out. So, and it allows them to continue adding incentives or having incentives, governmental incentives. So it works out.
I don't see why that makes sense for Tesla to have Tesla chargers that Ford trucks,
because they can charge Ford more, just like a gas station, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So they can charge Ford and everybody else $2 more per kilowatt hour or whatever it is.
Well, then you got to make it dumb cheap for Tesla owners because we're buying your product, Elon. Yeah. Otherwise, I'm going to go buy that.
Well, and truck. Have you seen Ford's autopilot? Have you seen that? No, it's like it's only roads that have been like HD mapped out, and it's ridiculous. So you can only use that in certain spots. And like Tesla, it's not just the car; it's all the other stuff that you're getting along with it. So,
the charging. What's that?
You can always tow a gas powered generator behind your Tesla.
Well, I think that like we're assuming too many things, right? Like the way I look at it is that charging is the gateway drug to whatever else they're going to be offering at the places you're charging. Like that's what gas stations are.
Yeah, but the charging places are like in hotel parking lots right now.
Right now they are, but like with the volume of people, if every vehicle is going to have to be mandatory made electric by 2025, like some companies like Mercedes-Benz, I believe, don't quote me on this, I believe that they said at 2025 they will no longer be making a gas engine car. Okay, so at some point you can't just shove chargers. You don't have gas stations or a gas pump at the front of every hotel, like because that's enough time has passed that they're like, we need to consolidate that. So at what point is it just going to be the charging is just the place to stop where your new convenience store.
They just put in on my way down to South Padre in Kingsville. They just put in a Chick-fil-A there. So you pop into the Chick-fil-A, go over and charge, eat. So the comment about 50-minute charge is not true. It usually takes about 20 minutes.
I won't be satisfied until there's inductive charging in the middle of the roadway. Okay. Once there's inductive charging in the middle of the roadway and I can just drive over it and it's constantly charging my vehicle, I'm okay.
They were already doing that for the semi. They're testing it. This is the last report. They're testing it for the semi, which means if they put it in the semi and the semi releases before or at and around the Cybertruck at 2022, then we should have that ability. Obviously, it still has to go through regulation, and that's where politics comes in the end.
No, it's not where politics comes in. It's where money making comes in because you can't monetize that.
You can monetize it, right?
You can monetize induction charging.
Roads. Well, I at least want a choice in what kind of road I'm getting.
So here's what's going to happen, though. They're going to say, cool, you want an induction charged road? We're going to increase your taxes. And then the people that are driving gas engine cars are going to not be willing to pay for that.
Well, I mean, all their companies won't even allow them to build new. You're not going to have a choice in cars in a while.
True, but for a while, I think there's going to be an overlap for a long time. I mean, we still ride horses.
Austin can't even put a road in, and you want him to put in a road that actually charges your car while you drive.
No, we're so far away from stuff like that. It's not even
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we'll see that in our lifetimes where the city of Austin has charging lanes through the middle of town.
Guys, I'm serious. Guys, serious question. Yeah. When am I going to get my Cybertruck? And why is it not at the end of this year?
2022.
I don't think they're not even going to start until they build Model Y here, and they're not even going to start.
They've already run a couple off of the production line.
Oh, you have?
Test.
Oh, units. So I shouldn't buy anything interim then. I shouldn't trade my truck in on a Model 3 right now, right? I should just wait till my Cybertruck's ready to go.
You should trade in your truck because you can get ridiculously high prices for it.
What is it going to drive in the meantime?
Man,
Model 3.
Yeah, you can do a Model 3.
I'm going to put some 24s on that B.
It'll take 2 months to get it, though. At least 2 months.
No, I can buy
it. You can hop on Vroom and get one right now.
Yeah. Or should I get this this Lightning one F-150? It's mean, bro. It's mean looking.
I'm trying to show you the thing. I'm working on it, but yeah, give me a sec.
Or do I just get a horse?
You could get a horse. This is Texas. If you start driving to Houston, there are a couple little towns in there where you might see some horses on the road.
Imagine.
Shoot, I saw one in Morningstar in Georgetown. That's like a normal subdivision. I'm sitting there watch people walk through on horses. I'm thinking, what is happening? I love it.
I like it too. I can see myself pulling up to a listing appointment on a horse with a mullet and a cowboy hat. No cap. No cap, bro. I did one time. I put Longhorns on the front of my truck because my buyer was like,
"Oh, there it is."
He's like coming into town. He's like, "Do you have Longhorns?" I said, "No, but I'll get some."
Share this.
Secured them right to my grill truck.
There's a kid on my son's baseball team with a mullet, and I freaking love that kid.
So this is the plan. They're doing these with restaurants in them. That's what they're going to start working toward.
Didn't they announce one of these up in Northeast Austin? Like that they're doing one? I saw it on Instagram.
Yeah, this is the Santa Monica right now, right? But yeah, they're working on.
Dude, can you wait? Can you imagine getting a Tesla taco? How sweet!
I know. And it's yeah, that'd be great.
I'm not so sure that I am that interested in that, but do you, boo boo?
You have to be able to buy it with Dogecoin.
All right, I'm out of here.
Me too. Later, everybody.
Guys, thank you for tuning in tonight. You could have been anywhere else, but you decided to be here with us, and we appreciate it.
Watching football or something.
Love y'all.
Yeah, football was that on tonight?